Self-leadership describes how you lead your own life, setting your course, following it, and correcting as you go. Today we'll talk about what is self-leadership, what are the three components of self-leadership, how do we develop it, and how do we demonstrate self-leadership. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure that you hit that subscribe button and the bell so you'll get notified when we post our new videos. And you really don't want to miss the ones coming up in the next few weeks. We've got some great ones coming. So I've been a professional coach since 2007, and I've coached hundreds of people. I've helped many of them discover their own self-leadership qualities, help them demonstrate those self-leadership qualities, and that's really helped them grow in their career and in their leadership abilities. So what is self-leadership and why is it important? Self-leadership allows the leader to influence others to take action so the goals of the organization are met. Self-leadership means recognizing, exercising, and improving your own leadership. Someone having a developed sense of who they are, what they can do, and where they're going. Self-leadership is actively developing a confident sense of who you are and taking ownership of what you do, being intentional about where you're going. It's a crucial skill that all employees should strive towards, beginning with your individual contributors. So what's the impact of self-leadership? Self-leadership allows individuals to control their own behavior, influencing and leading themselves through the use of specific sets of behavioral and cognitive strategies. So this in turn affects self-efficacy, leading individuals to believe that they can achieve their goals. Here's some tips to help you increase your own self-awareness and propel your leadership potential. First, feel your feelings. Feelings matter, so don't ignore them. Make sure you evaluate them and understand what you're really feeling and why. If you make this a practice and a habit, you're going to get in touch with your feelings, and this just will improve your self-awareness because you will be starting from right where you are. Seek feedback. See, knowing yourself is not an inside job. We have to initiate feedback from those that know us best. Gather feedback from friends and family as well as co-workers. It is especially important to get feedback from those on your team. If they report directly to you, you should make sure they know that you want them to be honest and to keep it real. Know your strengths and your weaknesses. Don't just trust yourself to be completely clear about your strengths and weaknesses. See, once you've gotten feedback from others, then make sure that you take action on that feedback. Don't hide the fact that you're actively seeking to improve on these things and that you welcome their observations. You want to practice mindfulness also. Make sure that you're mindful of the messages that you send with your body language. We all send messages with our body language, so be as cognizant as you can about being intentional with the nonverbal signals that you send. So very important. Follow your values. I really don't think we focus enough on following our values. It's one of the most important things you can do to send the right message to others. When we follow our values, people can sense that and they trust us more. So what are the three components of self-leadership? Well, there are lots of them. We're just going to talk about these three today. Self-leadership, we'll split it into three areas. One, self-awareness of personal values. Increasing your self-awareness of your values, because your values are the things that are important to you. They often take on short labels such as family, friendships, education, personal or professional development. There are lots of them, and there are many reasons why knowing your values can be important. My number one is integrity. One of the easiest ways to identify values is to ask yourself questions like, what's important to me? What would a perfect day look like? What values are represented in these choices? And what do I spend my free time on? That'll tell you a lot about your values. What do I enjoy doing? And what would I do if there were no limitations? The number 2, what are your intentions and your behavior? Leaders' intent is a clear, concise statement about what people must do to succeed in their assignments. It delineates 3 essential components: task, the object or goal of the assignment; purpose, why the assignment needs to be done; and the top 6 leadership behaviors, like building trust, acting with integrity, inspiring others, encouraging innovative thinking, coaching people, and rewarding achievement. And 3, personal perspective. Leadership is about balance. Great leaders know how to balance business acumen and analytical skills with interpersonal skills, communication, and empathy. They focus on the future and help make ideas actionable today. They have a broad perspective and understand the impact of their actions on others over time. So what are your self-leadership qualities? Give us a shout out in the comments below and tell us your story. We'd really like to hear about it. So how do you develop self-leadership? How we self-lead is critical. Here are 4 steps we should all practice each day to improve our self-leadership abilities. We need to control our emotions. We cannot react to every situation as if our hair is on fire. Thinking with great poise and calmness allows us to keep our emotions in balance, keeps us mindful. Then be adaptable. How we as leaders handle change is how our followers will adapt. We must embrace it, be fluid with our thinking, and never get upset when we need to pivot. It's all about achievement. We must have a standard of excellence that we hold everyone accountable to, including ourselves. When we strive for learning how to improve, we create a culture that strives for excellence, not one that's complacent. Then be a positive voice. We must find the good in people, situations, and events. This is an incredibly valuable competency, as it can build resilience and set the stage for innovation and opportunity. What's the best way to demonstrate self-leadership? Well, first, engage in open communication. This may seem like an obvious statement, and yet many people that think that their leaders are not being completely honest. My thinking about this is that most people are not necessarily being dishonest. Instead, they may be exhibiting closed body language. My advice is to be careful about your body language when you're communicating, especially when you're communicating an important message. Connect with your team members. I think this is crucial, that you need to connect with team members in an authentic way. This simply means using open body language, like we mentioned before, while also being true to your own style. Make sure you connect with them right where they are, and don't try to be something that you aren't. I also think you should encourage personal and professional growth. For most companies, the cost of personal and professional growth is just a rounding error on their budgets. So make sure you're encouraging people to grow and to seek outside help as they need it. We also should keep a positive attitude. We've said this before, but staying positive no matter what is important. Now, this doesn't mean that you ignore anything negative. Overall, we should approach the day and any issues that come up with a positive attitude, believing that we can overcome those things. Then we need to teach our employees instead of giving them orders. This is so very important because almost all of us would rather someone coach us towards success than order us towards success. I always would suggest when trying to help my team. For instance, I would normally start with something like, well, have you tried something? Or maybe you could try this. Setting clear employee goals and expectations. Most people respond well to having clear goals and expectations. It's really amazing how much they will achieve with very little intervention on our part. So be clear and then let them just go do their job. Give direct feedback about their performance. Make sure you're giving specific feedback that includes the impact of the subject of the feedback. It's a mouthful. Then ask for their opinion before you give yours. You may not even have to say very much. I also encourage you, ask for feedback on your leadership. You should always have the pulse of how you're doing as a leader. Make sure you're asking for and listening to any and all feedback on your leadership. Once you have that feedback, then it's up to you to decide what action, if any, needs to be taken. It's the best way to ensure that you will have a high-performing team with high-performing results. Be open to new ideas. When we're open to new ideas, there are endless ways to succeed. I've always heard that two heads or more are better than one. Understand your own motivation. Make sure you understand your own motivation so that you will be more congruent when sharing your objectives with others. Self-leadership is most definitely the foundation of all leadership, and it starts with you, and it starts with me. What will you do differently knowing that? Are you exhibiting self-leadership, or are you struggling with the behaviors of self-leadership? Well, you should go check out my blog. You'll find several blog posts that may really help you. And the link to my blog is in the description below this video. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the bell to get notified when we post our new videos. You don't want to miss out on the videos coming up in the next few weeks. So subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you there.